Hello and welcome to EGW Writings Tech Tips. I'm your host, Daryl Thompson. Thank you for joining us today in another of our series on learning how to use the new EGW Writing software for your Mac. I'm going to be demonstrating to you today how to use the Study Center. Now, this is a piece of software that we have built within the app that I absolutely love because what it enables me to do, it enables me to create different topical studies on topics like the Holy Spirit and salvation and sanctuary and Sabbath and many other different areas. And when I've created these, I can go through and highlight the different quotes that I find on the different topical areas. And later on, I can come back and review and reference them for later use. Particularly if I'm creating a study for a presentation that I'm going to be doing or for a personal Bible study that I may be working upon. And when I create these study notes, I can easily come back at any time. I can edit them, I can reference them, I can search them, and I can look them up. Now, over the years, I've created thousands and thousands of collections and notes and highlights within the EGW Writings. And my study center contains probably like 12 years of study in the EGW Writings. Now, I'd hate to lose this, and that's why I have an EGW Writings Cloud account that I sign in to back up my study center into. I also back it up onto my hard drive, so in case our cloud system ever, God forbid, crashed, even though we have it backed up in 3 locations, I can always download it from my own personal backup that I created. Now, the Study Center contains notes, highlights, and bookmarks. And so now, let's dive in and show you how to use it within the EGW Writings app. Now, the Study Center is something which is fantastic. You can see it over here in the side menu. I can actually access my Study Center here, or I can access my main. This is sort of like a short version of it. So it's quickly to navigate around. So, I can click on Christ and His Sanctuary here, and it will open up. And I can go to my next result in church because I've got a folder in here and I like to categorize everything into folders. And then these are my highlights, and you know whether it's a highlight because it's got a colored pen as we go down there. You know whether it's a bookmark because it looks like a little bookmark, and you know if it's a note in here because it will look like a little notepad. And you can see those over in under my Ministry of Healing collection. So if I come over here, you can see my Ministry of Healing. This is a highlight. This is a bookmark, and this is what a bookmark looks like. And this is a note in here. Now, if I want to edit, I can just right-click, and I can move things to the top, or I can delete them, move them up one level, or I can go ahead and edit. And if I click on Edit, it will come up and allow me to move things around within here in the edit mode. But how do I create my Study Center? That's just a nice way over in here in the Study Center tree, how you can navigate around. How do I create these? All right, so let's say, for example, I'm in Ministry of Healing. So let's say that I'm going to do counsels on health here. I won't type counsels on health because that's a book title. All right, so we've got counsels health. All right, counsels on diets and foods. We're opening up this search result, counsels on diets and foods, and it says, in a number of instances, the articles drawn from later books. Okay, this is just the introduction, so we don't want that one. Let's go actually into a search result here. All right. Seventh-day Adventists are handling momentous truths. More than 40 years ago, the Lord gave us a special light on health reform. So that was in 1863 that the major vision on health in Otsego was given to Ellen White, just a month after the church actually formed as an official church in 1863. And she's saying here, when did she write this? Published date, well, this is 1938 because it's a compilations. Oh, here we go. Testimonies for the Church, Volume 9, 1909. Okay, so yeah, more than 40 years ago, that's actually nearly 50, about 48 years ago when she's actually writing this from when she had this vision. Okay, so we're going along and we've got special light on health reform. But how are they walking in that light? How many have refused to live in harmony with the counsels of God? All right, so here we go. We want to highlight this quote. So now when I want to add this quote to my study center, I'm just going to click through here and select the text. Once I've selected the text, the little tiny toolbox pops up here and asks me what I want to do. Now I want to create a highlight. So I'm going to click on highlight here. Now I want it to actually go into the Ministry of Healing folder. So I select the Ministry of Healing folder, and I can actually choose one of the default colors, or I can go ahead and create a custom color. So I can give it a title. So I'm going to give it the title Ministry of Healing. And I'd like to actually make it green. And once I've selected my color, then I'll click Save. All right. And then I need to come down and select that color that I just created. It should be down here at the bottom. Ministry of Healing. I select my color and I click Save. Now I have created that highlight in my Ministry of Healing folder, and it puts it in down the bottom of my folder here. Now, when I'm stepping through my results, I can actually just click back on Search here, all right, and I can go through and look at another result. Okay, so this is in the book Evangelism, and it's just mentioning the book title. No, we don't want that. Here we go. Let's go to Health Food Ministries. No. Well, this is an interesting one. From the light given to me in regard to the location and building of our school interest, I know the purpose of the institution established and the distance from the city, so that it's not full of temptations and snares. You know, that's actually to our mental health. I'm going to select that here. And if I wanted to go back into my last location, it's very easy. I can just click on the M, and that will automatically, if I click across here in my study center, you can see that it automatically, by my history, I didn't have to go through and create the whole process again. I just had to click on the little M, and it's like my last location, and I can go through and build up a study. Now, maybe I want to build up a study on another topic. So say I want to put it on, like Holy Spirit. So I do a search here on the Holy Spirit, okay? And I'm looking through my results. Now, maybe I want to make my results rather than content sequence, weighted relevancy. So I choose weighted relevancy. Let's have a look here now. Okay. Yes, this is the one I'm after. Okay. So the office of the Holy Spirit is to work the men. We are not to work the Holy Spirit. We are to let the Holy Spirit fashion the character after the similitude of Christ. Love that quote. So I'm just going to highlight that quote here. Now I'm going to need to come and create, a new topic. So if I come over here and want to create a new topic, make sure you select the study center, because if you create a new folder here, it will create a subfolder under Ministry of Healing. So I need to come up here, select my study center as my root, and then I type here Holy Spirit, and then I click on Create. Now it's selected. Good. Now, this time I'm just going to select the default color. I'm not going to create a custom color. So I select yellow for Holy Spirit for light, and I click Save. Now I've created a new folder called Holy Spirit, and it should put it all in there. All right, so then if I want to come back and I go to my search results and I go down to the next search results, oh yes, and I click on here, the Holy Spirit will work. I've already selected that one. So that's a good, I already had created a highlight on that. Yeah, it's a good one. I've already created a highlight. Let's find one I haven't created the highlight on. All right, here we go. If you do not possess the Holy Spirit, there is a fault, and the fault is you. All right, so there's a good point there. And I'm just going to click on yellow, which is my Holy Spirit, and it adds it into my folder on the Holy Spirit. Okay, so that's basically how you create a highlight. And you can say, well, what if I want to come in and do a little bit of editing within my study center? No problems. You can come over here, and in your study center, let's say, for example, that I click on like barriers broken down in my study center. All right. And say I want to preview these. This is what I like about the preview. I can just click on preview, and what it will do, it will pull in the paragraphs, as you can see from here, and it will collate all of the different results within that folder into one collection here, which then I can share, or I can print, or I can copy. Something that's very extremely useful. All right, now let me turn off the preview. If I want to search in my study center, so say I come over to the root here, and I search in here and I type spirit, all right, you will notice that straight away it will find every location here where I've mentioned spirit, and you can see the results. Now, if I want to do some moving of some things around here, I can actually move the folders. You know, I can come over here and let's say, for example, I'm going to come down to test because I don't want to move some of my good folders. But say here, like I've got test 10 and test 3. I can actually click in here. I can choose to move to the top. I can choose to move up. All right, so, you know, it will move it up in the order. And if I select there, it will jump up in a location. Okay, so, or I can come up here and I can drag the folder up, and you can see how it moved up into second position. So you can drag and drop your folders too. So say the Ministry of Healing, say I want to move it up to just under Holy Spirit, I can drag and drop and move my folders around there. And I can actually drag them into each other, but I find that risky as well. So that's basically in here. If I open up my folder, then it shows me what's inside. If I click on the root, it duplicates here. If I want to see what's inside my folder, I click on here. I can expand it and see the same list here, or I can see it here. But over here, as I said, this is the preview. And I like to be able to click on preview, and then it can show me all of my results. See, these are the ones that we were going through and selecting and highlighting before. That's a great little feature. This one here goes ahead and just filters out my different elements. So if I turn off my bookmarks, all I'm seeing is my highlights. I've turned everything off, but all I have is highlights, and I can go through and filter what I want to see there. So let me just turn off my highlights here. Now I'm seeing just my highlights because that's all I have. If I turn it off, I see nothing. In a folder, what was a folder over here that we saw before that had different elements in it? Well, we saw that before. Okay, let's say we come into education here. So let me go and education. So you can see in this folder here, if I want to filter out and turn off my highlights, or if I want to turn off my notes, or I want to turn off my bookmarks, just remember, if you turn everything off, you'll see nothing. All right. You need to have one of these selected to be able to show. And that's how you can go ahead and filter. All right. So basically then, this is where you can, in your study center, do backups now. So you can back up and do a restore here. You can here do backups of your study center in the cloud, and this is here you can restore a study center. We won't go into this overview, but that's where you click on to do those. So that's essentially in my study center. And in here, if I want to filter different things, I can go ahead and filter the book. Now remember, if you don't have everything selected, then you will not be able to see what you are searching for. So be careful in the filter. You need to go back to no filter if you've selected to a particular book. So like you go Adventist, turn off Adventist Home, no Adventist Home results will show up. So make sure you have like all selected. And that's basically how you can search for a book over here or filter for a book within your study center. This little arrow here, this is where you can do a little sync. So it will tell you the last time that you did the study center syncing to the cloud. So it was synced here today at 10:28 a.m. and it's synced 607 items. All right, let's close down our study center. So as you can see here, I have created many different topical folders and many different studies on many different themes in the writings of Ellen G. White. Now, I've done that for a specific purpose because if you create all of your notes, highlights, and bookmarks within the root, just within the study center, and don't put them into folders, it actually slows down dramatically the app's operation. Specifically, when it comes to open the study center, it will take, if you have a huge study center, maybe 1 or 2 minutes or more to open. and before you can start to use. If you have tens of thousands, and we have people that actually have 100,000 or more notes or bookmarks, so they've told me when they're using the app and they wonder why it's running so slow. And I tell them you need to put it into topical collections and have no more than about 100 elements within each folder. That way it's easy to navigate, easy to use, and the app runs fast. Now, you can go into the Study Center and use it to drag and move these notes that you've created and these highlights that you've created and put them into a folder. You can edit that post. You don't have to do it as you create it, but that makes it much easier to use if you do. So try to make that a good habit. That's the best technical tip that I can leave you, is make sure when you use your Study Center to create topical folders and save your items in a different topic on each different category. Don't just leave it all in one big folder. All right, well, I'm Daryl Thompson. I hope the little tech tips that I gave you today on using the EGW Writings on the Mac have been beneficial and will help you in your daily study of the writings of Ellen G. White. Thanks for joining us now. Have a nice day.